bonjour everyone, or perhaps bonsoir, depending on where you are in the world. Heck, perhaps you say a whole different kind of word for hello, which is funny I say that because I'm sitting across from today's guest, who is a Swede. It's Lina.
A bonus.
It's Lina. Oh gosh.
Lina?
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. It's Lina. How do you say hello and good evening in Swedish?
Oh, well, you would say hej, god kväll.
Hey, god kväll.
Yes.
They're the two.
God kväll is good evening.
Good evening, everybody in listener land. Lina will be my guest today.
Lina, thank
aka
you.
Lina, aka lovely Lina. And we're in Sweden just a little bit longer before going back to Paris. And I thought, why not do an episode about Sweden?
An introduction of sorts.
I thought so. I thought if people like podcasts, they like travel, they might like to hear a little bit about this country where you're from, where we got married, where I lived.
I'm not sure if a lot of people know a lot about Sweden.
I don't think
apart
so.
from like ABBA and IKEA.
I would say there are a lot of people who don't know IKEA is Swedish. Even ABBA, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So what I figured, rather than give an introduction to Sweden or things to see in Stockholm or all that kind of stuff, which I maybe told Lina that I would do.
I'm nervous now.
Instead, I've collected, after 10 years of careful observation,
Okay.
the 10...
Please don't say my like hair or nail clippings or something.
I collected the 10 weirdest things about Swedish people. And I'm going to present them at you.
Right.
And that's going to be the episode. So if you're up for it,
Sure.
I figured we could do it.
Interesting.
And I figured to make things a little bit fun, I think it's only fair. I think if you disagree, because you're a Swede and you know this country, and you know, you should have the final say. If you think I'm being unfair,
Sure.
or if you think, well, that observation is not quite accurate, or if you just think I'm being annoying, you have the right to ring the Viking horn or the moose.
Bell?
Well, I'll be honest with everyone at home. I plan to have a moose horn for this, the sound that mooses make, because there are mooses, or elk, running around in Sweden. They don't make much noise.
What do you sound
I
like?
looked up
I
on
imagine
YouTube.
like a cow.
No, they're very gentle. They're sort of like a cat. Oh. So instead we got a Viking horn. So anytime that you say horn or Viking horn, that is grounds for Eddie to add the sound.
And then that basically like makes your point disappear.
No, but then you have to explain yourself.
Oh, okay.
So you guys at home, this is going to be your introduction to Sweden. It's not just me messing around here. This is literally...
This is serious.
This is real
serious
observation
journalism.
on a really unusual folk. I can say that because I married one.
Yeah, and you lived here, so I won't be ringing any horns. Ringing horn? Well, not yet, at least.
Well, let's hear what the horn sounds like. It's a good horn. It's a good horn. So that will be the sound that you need to call for.
Okay.
And I'll read out some emails maybe halfway through the episode and that kind of stuff. But here we are. We're going to Sweden for today. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Lina, thanks for being in the, I was going to say studio. We're in a bedroom right now.
Yeah.
In Stockholm.
That's it.
But thanks for being here with me. Let's get started. Here's the jingle. Take it away. There's the jingle from Slim and the Beast. How you feeling, Lina?
I feel like maybe we should have a Swedish translation of that jingle.
What do you
Not
mean?
now, but you know,
What
it's
is
a
it?
Swedish episode.
As in a Swedish... Well, we can do the Swedish national anthem. In fact, let's do it again. Eddie, Swedish national anthem.
Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord, du till...
So that's the Swedish national anthem.
Yes, it is.
Is it one of those ones where the Swedes know all the words to it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You learn it in school.
Is that true? Even like the 8th verse or whatever? Like a lot of countries, they don't know the last bit.
I don't know. I think it might be like an IKEA flat pack. You don't have too many like verses.
I feel like you don't quite know. Can we ring the horn?
So when you say, "Can we bring the horn, Eddie?"
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about what Eddie does. What's this mysterious man in your pocket?
Eddie, as you well know, is my little brother.
Yes.
I've brought him on to help with, I was going to say to help, but to edit the episodes. Make YouTube videos, do the scrolls for the Patreon
I've seen
supporters.
those. They're very cool.
All that stuff.
Well done, Eddie.
Yeah, all that stuff. Well, he won't edit that bit out.
He won't.
He's doing all the behind the scenes and helping to free me up. We're doing a lot of planning for new seasons of the podcast, YouTube, ways to make it better, that kind of stuff. So that's what.
Bigger, better.
Yeah, and I figured
wider.
in episodes like this that aren't so serious, we can use him to do sound effects.
Perfect.
Anything. You can say
Perfect,
anything.
ridiculous work.
Anything you want. He can do one of those boing noises.
All right, let's hear it.
See, told you.
Worth it.
All right, so I've got 10 things for you here, okay? I'm going to walk through them. You tell me what you think. You haven't
Okay.
seen the list. Be honest, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Here we go. Number 1 on the list. Swedes love coffee and giving it to you.
Oh. Then giving it to
Yeah, and giving it to
I
you.
mean, we do love coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm not going to ring any horns here.
No, well, I think my logic with Swedes, if you look it up on the internet, drink more coffee than pretty much everyone.
Yeah, I can imagine
I
that.
saw something in the paper like 4 cups a day or something is pretty typical.
Really? Yeah. That's actually, yeah. So when I asked my grandma this a little while ago, I was like, so how many cups of coffee should you drink a day? And she was like, about 5 or 6. And I was like, Grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of crazy. I think it's probably something to do with the long winter evenings and afternoons. And
We need
days.
that kick.
Or short winter days, I guess.
Yeah.
As in not much sunlight.
That's
but
it.
that's drinking coffee is not that weird, but they give it to you. I find that pretty weird.
Tell me more about that.
So, typical cafe, you go in and order a coffee. Mm-hmm. Free refills.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Portor, it's
Portor.
called in Swedish. But,
Yeah.
I think they do that in American diners, maybe. But they definitely don't do it in Paris. I've never seen it in Paris.
No, fill up. No,
No, you just
no.
go back up and you typically fill yourself up with like black
Yeah.
coffee, just normal coffee. And also if you go into the supermarkets, for example, or banks or car dealerships in Sweden,
That's so true.
they often give you coffee.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. Huh, interesting. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's like a little introspective.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
It's like I'm holding a mirror up to you.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. They love coffee and giving it to you. 4 or 5 cups a day. And good coffee shops in Stockholm, must say.
Really good.
Some really good ones
Yep.
so far. Okay, number 2. Swedes are obsessed with singing.
What do you mean?
Swedes are actually, I've never seen anything like it, so I'll explain a little bit. I've actually written obsessed with singing and singing shows and singing drinking songs. So for example,
Yeah.
I read somewhere once that there's more choirs per capita in Sweden than anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah, like a church singing.
Wow.
But also singing shows on TV, which I saw a
Oh,
lot
we
of.
love them.
And when I
We
say that,
love
they're
them.
like sing-alongs. And
Yeah.
you take them really seriously.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
It's like
Oh, no, it's a lifestyle.
it's like yeah, it's like they put it on TV. Is it live as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have 100
Gotta be
people,
live.
500 people in the crowd. The singer comes out and they put the text out and they hold the microphone to people in the crowd.
Yeah, and it's just like normal John and Mary on the street,
Yeah.
you know? They can't necessarily sing, but we sing, and we
everybody
love
sings.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Not to mention loads of famous singers.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows ABBA, like you said, but there are a lot that people don't probably realize are Swedish.
Yeah, like Robin,
Robin.
maybe?
Yeah, there's
She's
one.
Swedish. Tove
Avicii.
Avicii.
Yeah.
Do we have more?
Yeah. Who sings First Aid Kit?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
There's loads of them. There's loads more than you'd ever think. Famous Swedish singers and writers. But so there's that, and then there's drinking songs.
Yeah,
When I
we love a
first
good
came to
drinking song.
Sweden and everyone was doing drinking songs at dinner, and they're like, Oliver, sing one of your drinking songs from your country. I was like, we don't really. In Australia, we don't really do that.
Yeah, I remember first Christmas I took you to my family Christmas celebration, and we did that drinking songs and like the Christmas drinking
Yeah.
because we have themed ones, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we were like,
themed drinking songs, not themed Christmas.
oh,
Yeah.
this year we're gonna have an Easter themed Christmas.
I remember this. Yeah.
No. So we're like, yeah, Oliver, exactly what you said. Like, do you have any you could teach us?
Sing us a song, Oliver, from your home country. And I said,
You panicked
yeah.
and came up with.
I sang Waltzing Matilda.
There you go.
It kind of went down well. They go, oh, do you sing that at every Christmas? And I go, yeah.
Definitely.
But
definitely.
Swedes are obsessed with
Yeah.
singing.
Then we
It's
had
nice,
that
though.
song. We had that song at our wedding.
Waltzing Matilda.
Yeah, as the entrance song as we came in, or exit
The exit song.
for the church,
But
for the ceremony.
gently hinted
Yeah.
on the organ.
I know.
'Cause there was
it's
that-
great.
yeah.
It's like almost like an in joke.
Yeah. Speaking of in jokes, the entry song
Yeah.
If you read chapter 7 or 8 of my book, you'll know what that was. That was an in-joke too. See what I did there?
Yeah. Are we going to say what it is or no?
No. Read the book. You gotta say, if self-published, you gotta sell the books. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, theeiffeltower.com/memoir. Number 3, Swedes are weirdly efficient.
Yes.
Like weirdly though. Like a
What?
bit, like over the top efficient, I'd say.
Really? How? Please explain.
I think like I'm hesitant to say because I've got a number. Maybe I'll do with this one the obsession with numbers, which is number 7.
Okay.
Because they kind of go together. But first thing, like I've done a lot of these Alliance Française talks about my book with Americans. And in the book it talks about how I moved from Sweden to France. And then they often ask the major differences between the two countries. And I say that in Sweden everything works. And in France you kind of have to fight to get a lot of things to work. Like internet, for example.
Yeah.
Or delivering books through the customs, you know? But Sweden is like efficiency on steroids, and a lot of that comes through this obsession with numbers, 0.7. So, for example,
You just had an obsession with numbers then.
yeah, it's true. For example, like when the Holy Grail in Sweden is getting the personal number, which is kind of like a social security number, but everyone knows their number off the top of their head.
But of course.
Yeah, and you if you were to go into a dentist, there might just be a machine there, and you put the number in and sit down, and then they'd call your name out.
Yeah.
Like that kind of efficiency. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
But to me, this is so weird because to me that's like absolutely normal.
Well, how's it been living in France for 5 years then?
Now you say it. Not very efficient.
There's a thing with the numbers that I'll never forget is once I was going to jump into the water and I saw a guy swimming there and I said, is the water cold?
Yeah.
And he said 22
Oh yeah.
with degrees Celsius is what he was talking about. And I was like, what the heck does
22
mean?
Is that like code?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought?
No, I knew he was talking about the temperature in degrees Celsius, which in fact, it doesn't even matter what it is in Fahrenheit, but the fact is he answered in a number.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. If I say, is the water cold? I expect people to say yes, no, don't be.
Yeah, not 22.
Yeah, 22. So I didn't even know what it meant. But that kind of efficiency, I've always found interesting.
Wow, it's very exact.
So you agree, or I don't know?
I do agree. Yeah, I haven't used any horns yet.
No.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
You have good observations.
Well,
so far, so
maybe
good.
they get worse.
Maybe.
You won't for number 4.
Were you scrambling towards the end?
No. Number 9, maybe.
We shall see.
Number 4, Swedes hug a lot.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
It's the
we
equivalent.
do hug a lot. Yeah. Is it weird?
It's the equivalent of the French kiss on the cheek.
Yeah, la bise.
La bise, yeah. What Swedes do is you meet someone, you say hello. In fact, perfect example. Last night we went out with 2 of your friends.
Yeah.
So I knew the girl, I didn't know the guy, never met him. And when I said hello to the girl, hadn't seen her for like a year or 2,
Yeah.
hugged her, and then got to the guy, what do? Especially with the virus that shall not be talked about at all in this episode. But it kind of was normal time with him just then. We hugged.
Yeah.
I never met this guy before.
Yeah,
We
but
had a little cuddle on the street. That's weird.
I guess the proximity, like, I'm so close friends with her, made it like...
I don't know. But I feel like I gotta hug him forever now as well.
Haven't you, like, you dove deep into this subject?
Oh yeah, sure. I've been obsessed with it for 10
Weren't you on
years.
Swedish TV
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
this with like the etiquette professional spokesperson of the country?
I'm ringing the horn. I'm ringing the horn because I specifically didn't want to go into my days in Sweden to make it sound like this is all reused content from another life. But that is true, actually. I did. I wrote a column on this.
Are we gonna cue a picture in the scrolls?
Yeah. Oh, that was really good.
Yeah, Eddie, you on it?
That's a fun story. I actually didn't think that you'd bring that up, but well, I didn't.
Well, I had to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun.
So this like 6-7 years ago, I wrote a story about how crazy Swedes are with their hugging, and the Swedes. There's a real interesting difference. So when I moved to France, I did still do a lot of stories about French people. French people don't really care, and I think it's because they've been
They're
expat.
like, yeah, we know we're cool.
Yeah,
we know we're great.
I just think they're used to it. I think there've been expat writers and journalists going there for millennia.
A long time.
Yeah, for everyone's lifetime at least.
Yeah.
And so if I write a story, like in the book I wrote about I'm really interested about how in Paris it's very unusual to kiss a guy on the cheek if you're not related to him. And I'm always like, how do you earn that kiss? And I wrote a bit about it in the book. But if I wrote that in Paris, no one would care, French people. But if I wrote the equivalent in Sweden, which I did write about the hugging, the Swedes go crazy for it. That could be on the list. Swedes are obsessed with hearing what foreigners think of them.
Yeah, but we're not used to it. No one cares about Sweden.
That's why it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So I wrote this article, why Swedes? I can't embrace Sweden's obsession with hugging. And they got me on the biggest breakfast TV show.
So funny.
In Swedish.
It's so funny.
With the queen of...
How was your Swedish back then?
I refused to watch the clip.
No way!
But it was good enough to be on live TV with this woman who's like a legend.
She's like... she was. May her soul rest in peace.
She was lovely. I still kept email contact with her. And she would sign off emails, your hugging friend forever.
No way.
Because we mentioned it on the TV show or something like that. She
was it like HFF?
I think so.
Hugging friends forever.
So anyway, the way I wrote about it at the time is that you meet a Swede. Generally, you chat with them. If you talk for more than 5 minutes, when you say goodbye at the end of the party or whatever, you hug them goodbye, and then you have to hug them every time you see them for hello and goodbye for the rest of your life, and you're hugging friends forever.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It takes forever to enter a party.
Yeah, so it's exactly like the French kissing thing.
Yeah.
Instead of kissing on the cheek, which they never really do.
Do you think it's more intimate than the kiss? Body contact.
Yeah, I think so. I really struggle with it when I moved here, especially.
Really?
Yeah, especially with strangers and like in Australia, maybe you hug a woman but not a man. Like you hug the opposite sex. So I thought that was different.
Okay.
But
it's so interesting. It's so interesting to hear this.
Yeah, now I hug anybody and everybody. I'm
you
over
just
it
go
now.
up, yeah.
And same with kissing in France. I'll kiss anybody. Left and right in Paris. Don't forget. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Agreed.
Number 5. I'm the only one to use the horn so far. Swedes are obsessed with coziness. Like obsessed.
Obsessed.
Yeah, things have to be cozy. Like
really, you think?
You don't think?
Like how?
So there's a word in Swedish, mysigt.
Yeah.
And the Danish people
means cozy.
Yeah, and the Danish people have a similar one that's like
hygge.
Hygge. And there's if you search for hygge.
Hygge became like a massive deal the past year.
There'll be people listening to this nodding, going, yeah, I've seen that book. But the truth is there are about 50. If you look up HYGGE, there's
hygge.
like 20 books published in the past couple of years about the Danish hygge effect.
And we're like, mysigt.
Yeah,
it's the same. We've had that forever.
But you never capitalized on it.
Oh dear.
They just missed the boat on that one, and Danes took all the credit. It's true. But the idea of it is, and I think it's also got to do with the cold winter months, is a house should have the right lighting, the right
temperature.
22, perfect. The right kind of carpet and cushions and interior, that kind of interior decoration.
Yeah, we do spend a lot of time thinking about our homes.
That's what I mean. So when you go on flick on the TV, if you don't see a crime show, and I mean by crime show, I mean like detective thriller.
Yeah.
Then you'll see how to make your house more cozy.
Yes.
There's a dude called, in English you'd say Ernst, in Swedish
Ernest.
Ernst.
Yeah, Ernst.
And he's like got the whole country by his little finger, making everyone's house cozy.
Oh my, he's the face of coziness.
Yeah, he is.
He's like a god.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he is a crazy cozy god.
Kind of older dude, maybe 60, would we say?
Yeah,
late
probably.
50s, and kind of guy who wouldn't wear shoes.
Oh no, he want to feel the parquet floor on its bare feet.
Yeah, and can you imitate him, but in English?
I feel like these flowers and this wood, they just want something. Like together, they have this energy, and it's just wonderful, you know?
Yeah.
And I just love sitting out here and watch the sky.
Yeah.
You guys at home, you should do the same.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I've watched your family anyway. Everyone sort of has opinions on it. Like, yeah, you got that one right, Ernst. Yeah. We should do the same thing in our house. But it's always like, it's kind of, in Australia anyway, it's the kind of thing that's almost for children's programs about being arty. Mm-hmm. You know, like...
Oh yeah, it's like crafty.
Crafts,
yeah.
Crafts.
But also it's like, sometimes it's just craft, like ridiculous things.
A lot of his stuff is pretty ridiculous.
It's really weird.
It's like, I'll show you how to make the perfect table mat
Yeah,
or coaster
and
or
it's
something.
not, and it's really impractical. Or do
driftwood.
sometimes he makes like candle holders out of paper, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm not so sure about that one.
But everyone watches it, and it's not just him. He's the king of it.
Oh,
But
there are several.
There are loads and loads
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
And everybody does it. And the houses are typically very cozy.
Yeah.
It's typically that you wouldn't wear shoes in a Swedish house. Whereas in
No, not at
Australia, a
all.
lot of people would be fine with that.
We have a skogräns.
I love that. That's untranslatable for Swedish.
So how would you translate it?
You can't untranslatable.
The limit where you can't walk in with shoes any further.
A shoe border.
And I mean, it's
Don't
not,
cross the shoe border.
and it's an invisible border.
Yeah.
You just know.
Does every home have it when you walk?
You just know.
You just know.
Yeah.
So why is there a word
Respect.
for it? Is it for the foreigners? For
Maybe.
people like me?
No,
Okay.
it's like doggies, kindergarten.
Daycare.
Yeah, daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They have like a written out one then.
I see. For when people come in. Okay, so I've done 5. We're plus number 7. So technically, we're more than halfway.
I feel like you're very observant up until now.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 years in the making.
So
A
10
list.
years to get
Wow.
10, one per year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very profound.
You know another one that's not on the list? Baguettes in Stockholm, very expensive compared to Paris. Whoa. We bought one for 4 times the price of a Paris baguette yesterday.
Yeah, but it was very dense.
It was a dense
It's a lot of baguette for your
It
for
wasn't-
your dough.
It wasn't 4 times. Horn. We should
I
have bad-
reject that horn. Play it and rewind.
Bad puns deserve. No, they should be. You're right. They should be encouraged. If anyone's still listening, this show is usually about Paris. Mm-hmm. Lina, a Swedish woman, and me, an Australian with strong Swedish connections, find ourselves in Sweden and thought we'd just experiment. The idea with this episode is just to test the waters.
Yeah.
What happens if you drift from Paris? Does everyone switch off, or do you like it? Let me know in an email. I've written, I've copy-pasted something someone sent in here. Mm-hmm. It's an email from Olivia. I say email, it's a review of my book, but it was a nice one on Goodreads. I thought I'd read it.
Yeah,
if
please.
you'll indulge me. So what I'm talking about, I wrote a book called Paris on Air. I said to Lina when I published the book, I said, I'll talk about it for a year.
Yeah.
I said, once a year is gone, no one's going to hear me talking about it.
That's it.
That was my
Time's
plan.
up.
I think it's unfair to talk about a book for more than a year
Yeah.
to everybody. So, I don't know.
So how's it going?
In
How many
terms
months
of-
left?
I think I published in April. But it's not a year anyway.
Yeah,
It's probably
awesome.
6 months, so I can still get away with reading the occasional review, which I'm going to do here. Reading Paris on Air, says Olivia. 5 stars. She says, it's like having a wonderful conversation
Who's
with
obsessed with numbers now?
Olivia. This is written by me, this is a female version. She says, it's like having a wonderful conversation with a good friend who's both a very nice guy and an incredibly good storyteller with interesting adventures to relate. She says, Oliver's writing, that's very nice. Oliver's writing style is light and easy, and his stories are so fun and flow so well. The book is kind of 100 short stories
Yeah.
that flow together, huh? It was such a fun book to read in lieu, sadly, of a trip to Paris in 2020. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Olivia. I read only a story each day as I didn't want it to end, so I saved it as long as I could. Now that I've finished it, I feel as I might at the end of a great dinner, sharing wine with friends, and you don't want it to end. You want it to go on with more stories and more wine. Oh yeah, I know those dinners, Olivia. Oliver's podcast is also wonderful. Yeah, okay, podcast, blah, blah, blah. It does seem bizarre that someday I might bump into Oliver and greet him as a friend, as I know so much about him, yet he would have no clue about me. Please, Oliver, write more fun, sweet stories, she says.
Aww.
That's really lovely.
This is so nice.
Thanks for the review, and to all the people who leave reviews, I love to read them, to address some things. That's something I hear a lot when I meet people. In fact, the guy that I hugged yesterday watched, I don't know if you heard this, he watched our pub quizzes during the lockdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he goes, feels like I know you.
Yeah.
And I really should come up with a cool response to that, because people say it a lot.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh.
You could be like, I hope to get to know you.
That's a good one.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because people often say it, and I usually say, I don't want to make them feel like they're like a stalker or something. Mm-hmm. So I go, that's normal. People say that a lot.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Well,
Hard to think of that.
Hopefully I can get to know you. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so you guys at home, if you ever bump into Oliver and he happened to say this and he happened to reply this, you know where it came from. It came from moi.
Play the horn, Eddie.
What?
Puns, stealing credit. Oh, I guess it was your credit. The other thing I wanted to address is please write some more stories. If you wonder what I've been up to in Sweden.
Yeah, these weeks.
Writing a sequel to Paris on Air, and I'm flying along with it. I'm sure you guys all know that if you read my weekly newsletter. So,
it's pretty exciting.
yeah, a lot of content with that lockdown and everything that happened since the end of the last book.
But still light.
Yeah,
Because
light.
that sounds quite, like, heavy.
Oh, no, the light side of it. The light side of it. Okay, so onwards. Thanks for
Okay, I'm
leaving the review.
excited.
Yes, more. Point 6. Swedes freak out when foreigners speak Swedish.
Horn! Oh, speak Swedish!
Yeah.
Okay, I retract my horn again.
He's played it now.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant English.
No.
No, okay.
The opposite.
I was like, what? Okay, yeah, go on.
When I speak pretty good Swedish. Good enough.
It's fluent.
There's an accent though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I probably speak Swedish
You
like
can hear-
Borat speaks English.
No, way better.
No, but he speaks perfect English but with an accent.
No, but he says like weird stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't really.
I figure that when I speak Swedish it sounds like this. Hello, why are your baguettes so expensive?
No.
Like more
No.
like, what is it like?
You're too humble.
Can you do an imitation?
Hello.
Why are your baguettes so
This is
expensive?
why.
Whenever I speak Swedish to Swedish people, even though I'm confident enough to do live TV, they freak out.
Yeah.
And they freak out properly.
Yeah, it's like they can't put you in a box.
No, they start looking around.
I think Swedes love putting this. Maybe this is on your list. I'm not
Yeah, go
sure,
on.
but I feel like Swedes love to put people in a
Because they're
box.
so organized. They want to
It's like
what's the word? Compartmentalize? What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Put you in a compartment.
Compartmentalize.
Yes.
Lies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, he's this kind of like, is
Yeah.
he successful? Is he like a lunatic? Is he, you just want to see like what sort of person someone is.
And it's not hard to do that in Sweden because a lot of information is public. Like you can find out people's salary, where they live,
That's true.
pretty easily. So I walk in to order a coffee or to whatever, start speaking Swedish. They go, well, this is not cool. Hang on, he's definitely a foreigner, but he's learned Swedish. Typically, often foreigners don't learn Swedish because everyone speaks such good English.
Yeah.
So they start freaking out and they look to you as if,
It's like, is he okay?
is he saying this guy?
And then, just to top it off, you like say a joke,
Oh yeah, they never get jokes.
and they like freak out. That's true.
Yeah, like one time
Yes, it's
recently
true.
I said my card wasn't working to pay something.
Yeah.
I did a classic joke that I do. I say, well, we'll be out there cleaning. I do that in French as well.
Yeah.
When the card, just something I always talk about, a little bit of light, small talk to get the conversation going. So I said to this woman, well, we'll be out the back cleaning with you. And she freaked out. And she goes, no, that in Swedish, but she's like, no, that is not allowed.
No.
No, you can't do that. No, you'll have to find a way to pay. I was like, no, I'm kidding. Goodness me. And that has happened like 10
So
times.
nervous.
And it's kind of like you have to be like, it's all right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It had like it. Yeah, I feel like I have to ease their pain by
Yeah.
like putting a hand on your
Yeah.
arm and go like and shaking my head but smiling.
Swedes need to get with the program. Whereas often they'll switch to English as well,
Oh yeah,
which they don't do in French so
but
much.
I think I'm not sure. Is it because we love to practice?
I don't know. That's
Who
a whole
knows?
different topic, but they do freak
Yeah.
out when foreigners speak Swedish. Sometimes. Or at least when I do. Number 7, they're obsessed with numbers. We covered that already. So
Yep.
on to number 8.
Efficient. I like it. As a Swede, I like
bet you
it.
love it. 3 more to go, folks. Okay, here we go. They're obsessed with loose candy.
Well,
Obsessed with loose candy. Yes, guilty.
oh, okay, yes, it's true.
The proof
it's true.
is there is a word and a concept
Oh, I'm ashamed.
for, is it Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday candy? Mm-hmm. Explain.
Okay, so Saturday candy, lördagsgodis, is something that you are basically taught as a kid that on Saturdays you get candy and you get so excited. It like becomes a whole stigma to this like Saturday candy that you get so excited that I think it follows you into adulthood. And as a result, the supermarkets have like a whole, could you say corridor? Like it's a whole wall.
Sometimes, yeah, a whole. And when we say loose candy, I don't know if that makes sense to people.
It's like buckets of one sort of candy.
With
and
a
then,
shovel.
Yeah, with a shovel.
Yeah,
and then
and
you
they
just
weigh
put
it.
it in the bags
Yeah.
and you just fill up.
But when Lina says like a
crazy.
Yeah, when Lina says like an aisle, I've never seen anything like it in
Yeah.
any country ever.
If you think
in the
France
supermarkets.
has like a lot of yogurts, imagine that, but candy.
Yeah, that's yogurts for any Americans.
Oh, yes. Yogurt.
I remember when I was younger in Australia in like the video shops. You know, VHS shops, there was loose candy.
Yeah.
I don't know what we called it, but it wasn't loose candy. But
Pick and mix.
Pick and mix, yeah. But here, not just in the supermarkets, also in like petrol stations.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Cinemas, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. But lots and lots of shops, and people take a lot of it. And this concept of Saturday, it's not just on Saturdays, take it all the time. But it's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm surprised Swedes aren't more overweight than they are, because they in Stockholm at least they seem to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, with Slim Jims.
I don't know why.
Or
I don't know.
Jenny's.
Do you just eat them on Saturday, or is it kind of like, oh, it's kind of like Halloween every day for any Americans listening. It's crazy.
Yeah, I have seen similar things in, for example, Paris, but like the boxes of candy, but usually they have maybe like 4 different sorts. Here, it's like 100, 200.
So for an example, in the city that where Lina and I got, the town where we got married, small town, population 5,000, central supermarket, they would have the size of a shoebox full of candy times, I would say, 40.
Yeah, at least.
40 different, and it fills up the whole thing.
And then, you know what? Like along the highways, there are stops of like whole houses full of it, and they have like, we have 12,000 sorts of candy. Like, it's crazy.
Although I think they're around the world. I remember
Really?
We went in on one on the honeymoon, remember? In France.
Did we?
Yeah.
Was that in Sweden?
No, they have, and in Paris they have some of those shops with like a pirate out the side, and you fill up.
Yeah.
But that feels like a special occasion.
Yeah,
This is
this is like corner shop style.
Yep. Okay, obsessed with loose candy.
Yeah, okay,
Number 9 is a
fine.
weird one that I never really noticed so much until, well, it's a bit weird. Swedes are obsessed with America.
Develop.
So I've seen. So firstly, I know that there's this raggare culture.
Yeah.
Which is they love getting old cars.
Yeah.
What kind of like old American
Yeah, it's like
cars?
rockabilly, I guess.
Is that what you call it? Yep.
Yeah.
And this is especially in the countryside, less so in Stockholm. They drive them around, go to American style diners out in the countryside with jukeboxes and like Elvis music.
Yeah, and
they
they do their
dress
haircuts.
like
they
from
do their
Grease, the
so it's all
movie.
like 50s style rockabilly.
Yeah, that's huge. And
Americana.
yeah, we've got
like
3
it's
untranslated words: raggare, which is like hillbilly,
Yeah.
lördagsgodis, and myset. 3 good words.
And
so far.
skolgräns.
Wow, 4.
Yeah.
Wow, 1 more. Maybe there's another one. So there's that, which is a big part.
yeah.
Which is kind of odd
It is a big Americana culture, it's true.
because in America they don't have Swedish culture.
No.
That's what I think. But also I've noticed in Stockholm a lot of New York Yankees hats.
Yeah.
The caps, like a load of them.
And a lot of like American flags.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
On a cap, on
In cars,
in cars.
definitely.
I saw a guy playing guitar with an American strap to his
We
guitar.
think it's cool, you know? It's a cool thing.
Also, I am not going to name which president, just because this is going to be an apolitical episode, but I saw in
Please.
someone's garage a big flag, American flag, with a president's name on it.
Yeah.
I thought that was wild.
I know, it's really weird.
I would bet my whole career reputation that there's not an American garage in the whole country where someone's got a Swedish flag with a Swedish
With
Prime
Stefan
Minister's
Löfven.
name on it. If someone listening to has that in their garage, you win a prize.
Yeah.
If you can
You win
prove-
like a whole kilo of lördagsgodis.
That's fun. But that was weird. I remember seeing that and going, that is odd. You can't even vote
Yeah, it's weird.
over there.
It's, no, it's true.
So those kind of things are pretty odd. So what do you think? I mean, you're on the fence at first.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
And we love Bruce. I was gonna say Bruce Jenner.
Springsteen.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
He's huge.
Yeah.
I think he's more popular
Big time.
here. He's their favorite singer.
Absolutely.
They call him the boss, but in Swedish it's
Bossen.
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 Yeah, I read his autobiography and he talked about Sweden actually.
Really?
He talked about playing in Stockholm. There was in Gothenburg, there was some controversial thing, like they stormed the stage. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Viking style.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
But there you go, really obsessed with America.
Yeah.
And I think...
Why do you think? Why?
Well, I'm going to correct myself a little bit. Some Americans are obsessed with Stockholm, Sweden, because when I used to work as a journalist here, I remember people would follow on Twitter. And back, I used to use Twitter a lot more, and hardly at all now, but people would follow me because I was writing the news, and they'd write like, I'm Jenny, you do a little description, and they'd write, I love Bruce Springsteen, whatever. I love Bruce Springsteen, long walks, and dream of having a cottage in the Swedish countryside. And I always thought it was weird until I figured it's probably because a lot of American ancestry.
Ancestry, yeah, it's a big...
It's like 10% of Swedes went to America 100 years ago or something.
Big, like, utvandrarna, we call it. What do we call that?
Immigrants, I suppose.
Yeah. Exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah, I have family where I don't know who they are anymore, but like distant family who emigrated to America.
We went to
like
New
Mississippi,
Sweden.
I think.
Do you remember?
Yeah, exactly.
In Texas. Anyone here from New Sweden? Get in touch. You win a kilogram of lösgodis. Or it wouldn't be a kilogram if you're in Texas. It would be some kind of number of pounds. We don't use the pounds.
No.
Or the stones. Number 10.
Number 10.
Whew. Number 10. Long list. They're obsessed.
Why are we obsessed with so many things?
I don't know why.
Okay, we're obsessed. It makes a great headline. I give you that.
They're obsessed with using English words.
What do you mean?
I mean, and it's the weirdest thing. They speak Swedish and then they throw in the most odd English words. And I'm not talking like, let's say they don't have a word for tractor, so they use the word tractor. I mean, they talk like in Swedish, like it's blah 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 blah, and then they go blah 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 100% efficient, blah 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 blah, right on the money, blah 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 blah. Just weird phrases.
Yeah, it's true.
That aren't even phrases.
I never used to notice that, but a couple of years ago, I don't know if it's a new thing or maybe my ears just like started hearing it. But yeah, it's the same like being on the tunnelbana, the metro. It's like you just hear these like so weird, and it's not even phrases like common like phrases. It's and
they like things like
they're just like. Yeah.
Like blah 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 blah. I'm saying blah 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 because I don't know what I'm saying in Swedish, but blah 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 blah. Get it on.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah,
true.
Blah.
I even heard it on the TV today. It's like a reality show about a Swedish family, whatever. And the girl, she was like freaking out about that she got a grey hair. And she was like, okay, so this part was in Swedish. She was like, it's impossible. And then she switched to English, 24 years old. It's like, why? That's not a... Why?
That's exactly
why would you...
it.
Yeah.
It's
and
so
I thought
odd.
about this because we have discussed this little weird phenomenon
I'm fascinated
before.
by it, yeah.
And it's so odd.
Yeah. But it's not just that, so...
Like, 24 years old is not a thing. Is it? Is it a thing?
No. It could be like a Taylor Swift song or something. But it's not. It's just always weird little bits.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of... I don't know, but it's weird to me because in English, like maybe people do it in that they use words like they go, oh, it's a little bit of, he's a bit of a bon vivant, and there's a little bit of a savoir-faire.
Yeah, but that's that's famous expressions.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's the equivalent of that, but with
like je ne sais quoi. Yeah.
It's like doing je ne sais quoi with weird bits.
Do you think? I just had a thought. Do you think it might be like I was going to say natural selection, but not that. But like the evolution.
Ring the horn. I'm just kidding. Evolution, do you mean Swedish is dying out?
Because we, like, a lot of, like, most Swedes speak pretty good English and use it fairly often,
I think,
I guess.
It's probably the
and, like, it's becoming
so
natural that you just kind of integrate it a bit. So it's maybe in, like, 100 years it'd be, like, a big jumble.
There's something like that in Singapore, I think. It's like Singlish. It's a mix of the
really?
two. Yeah, so maybe that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is probably a shame for people who want to protect the Swedish language. But it would be the same in French, because I know most people listening probably know French in France a lot better. But it'd be like talking like this and just using un petit peu of French. Just like that. It's like, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it like you would think it's pretentious.
Yeah, I went out for a walk the other day and whoa, il faisait froid, but you know, my friend, you know, it's like that. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but on the plus side, it's really helpful for tourists or foreigners here. Like for example, if I heard your mum call a building company the other day, and she had it on loudspeaker, and they said in Swedish, they answered, hello, this is the building company, and then the first thing they said was, for English, press 9. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't find that in many other countries in the whole world.
Yeah.
So that's anyway.
Efficient.
For foreigners and tourists. But anyway,
Equality.
That's the end of my list. What did you think?
Really? That was it?
That was all 10.
Oh no, I really got into this. I want more. Come on,
I don't
do you
have any more. Give me 10 more years and I'll give you another 10. But
well, I thought it was, you know, my lack of honking was...
Didn't honk the horn.
No, I did a couple of times and then retracted. You know, like a inverted horn.
Yeah.
And raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you like the list though?
I do.
Okay.
I think it was very well observed. Quite weird things that you
Swedes
noticed.
are an unusual group of people compared to... When I walk around France, I don't think they're unusual. I think because we've all read so much about them, we know of their idiosyncrasies.
And if it's like stereotypes, you just pick up on it and it's like, oh, that's so French. But maybe we don't have anything like that for Swedes.
Well, now you do.
People.
Now everyone's got the whole episode. So there you go.
Yeah.
I think we can round it out on
Consider this a Swedish manual.
Consider it a Swedish manual. Yes. Indeed. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep working on book 2 before we get back to Paris soon. Are you still painting? We can do a shout out for you at Parisian Postcards on Instagram. What's going on?
Yeah, I have. I'm very busy, working on a lot of stuff.
We're doing our top secret project as well.
Yeah,
That
so
only
that's taking
Patreon
up.
supporters know about.
Exactly.
Patreon.com/the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, so that's taking up quite a lot of time, which is very exciting.
And still Paris pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, mostly.
Cool.
Exactly.
Check out Lina. If you want a lot more Paris, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I'm craving some Paris, then the good news is for members or for soon-to-be members, if you haven't seen it already, I went back to a walk show, which is where I walk around Paris with a guest that I did with Boris from Paris in Person, Art Nouveau tour of the 7th arrondissement. And it was so cool. You saw the video that we made, right? We got into 29 Avenue Rap, the most beautiful building facade in Paris. And during that 80-minute walk, we took that, me and Eddie, and we turned into a little YouTube video. So that's on YouTube. If you're a member, you'll find, the scroll that Eddie made with all the Art Nouveau addresses and more and more and more. Plus extra videos with Boris from Parc Monceau and Rue Claire. If you're a new member, that's about 3 hours worth of Paris entertaining, I think, for you. If you're an old member, maybe watch the replay. There will be more to come. Thanks for your support as a member. And as for everybody, if you want to help this show along, consider buying the book, theeiffeltower.com/memoir. Otherwise, just tell your friends about it. It means the world to me when you do it. So thanks for listening.
And give them a hug.
Give them a hug. Give them some loose candy. And take your shoes off. Good. All right. That's enough from us. Have a lovely week wherever you are. Any last words, Lina?
Hey door.
Hey door, which means...
Yeah, it's not hey door.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Hey door,
It's
which means goodbye.
goodbye.
Hey door. Hey door.
Hey door.
I don't